Hello and welcome. My name is Will Tillier. I am the Associate Director for Scholarship and Alumni Engagement at the UCLA International Education Office. And during this webinar, we'll be talking about study abroad scholarships. This presentation was prepared for UCLA students. But if you're not a UCLA student, I hope you will still find this information helpful. And if you are watching this during YouTube Premiere, you're welcome to submit your questions on the chat. This webinar is part of GLOW, which is our Global Learning Opportunities Week. The recording of this presentation will be available on the IEO website on the GLOW page. And before we start, I would like to mention that there is another webinar I would strongly recommend you to watch, and it's called How to Make Study Abroad Affordable. And you can also find it on the GLOW page. In this presentation, we will only focus on scholarship, but there are other means for you to make your study abroad affordable. Okay, so let's get started. Many students think that study abroad is not for them because it's too expensive and they can't afford it. If you ever thought this way before, I have good news for you. There are a lot of scholarships out there that can help you make your dream a reality. So the purpose of this webinar is to give you tools so you can find opportunities to fund your study abroad program. And these are the topics we're going to be covering today. We'll talk about types of scholarships. We're going to talk about who are the study abroad scholarship providers. We'll look into the application process and how to write a winning essay. It is important to know the types of scholarships because the more specific or targeted your research, the better results you will get. And there are scholarships for almost anything you can imagine, but today we'll focus on the most common types. When we talk about merit, we usually think about GPA, but there is a lot more in merit. It can be your artistic, athletic, or leadership skills, if you have done any extracurricular activities, community service. So these are your accomplishments. Need-based scholarships are for students from low-income families, and it's based on financial need. Student-specific. These are focused on who you are. What makes you unique? What makes you stand out? Are you part of a minority group or an underrepresented group in study abroad? For example, first gen, transfer student, person of color, and many others. And talking about this category, as I was preparing for this presentation, I found a very interesting scholarship, and the name is DIWC, and it stands for Diverse International Women of Color. So if you are a woman of color, you already have a scholarship that you can apply for. So just go online and type DIWC. Destination specific. These are scholarships to motivate students to study in a particular country. Many of these scholarships can be offered by the government of that country. They want to attract international students to study there. Some are offered by the universities in that country, or sometimes by donors that maybe they live there or they studied abroad there and they want to share their experiences with other students as well, to have them participate and learn more of that culture. Program specific, these are very tightly connected to the kind of program you decide to participate in. And these scholarships are only applicable to that program. And field specific, this is awarded based on your particular major or field of study. So let's take a look into the scholarship providers. I divided the providers in 4 categories, and we'll take a look at each one of them separately. But let's just go through them. Study abroad organizations and institutions. These are entities that provide facilitate, or administer study abroad programs. And universities are placed in this category. Number 2 are private foundations and organizations. They are non-governmental, non-profit organizations or charitable trusts. The federal government also offers excellent scholarships for study abroad. And there are 2 webinars that we have recorded, one on the Gilman Scholarship and one on the Boren Scholarship. So if you're interested, you can find them on the GLOW page as well on the IEO website. And finally, corporations or businesses, they also offer scholarships. So let's start breaking down these categories. The first one we are going to look at are study abroad organizations and institutions. And of course, as you are a UCLA student, let's take a look at the UCLA International Education Office. So UCLA offers a lot of study abroad scholarships, and the great majority of them you can find on the IEO website. Some of them are offered by departments, some of them are offered by the IEO office, but you can find the list on the IEO website. UCEAP also offers scholarships. And I just wanted to make a note here because I know there can be some confusion between UCLA programs and UCEAP programs. So UCLA, at UCLA, we have 2 programs, which are the UCLA Travel Study, the faculty-led program, and the UCLA Global Internship Program. So both of these programs, we have scholarships that are offered to all UCLA students. Now, UCEAP is an independent office. They are located in Santa Barbara, in Goleta, and they are kind of like an organization that offer study abroad opportunities to the entire UC system. So that includes students from UCLA, from UC Riverside, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara, and others. If you're applying for a UCEAP program, most likely you will come, the first point of contact will be the IEO office or the UCLA Study Abroad office. So we're kind of the middleman between UCLA students and UCEAP. But UCEAP offers scholarships as well for the students participating in their programs. Just keep in mind that when you are applying for UCEAP scholarships, you are competing with students from all the UC campuses. When you're applying for UCLA scholarships, you are only competing with UCLA students. Outside providers also offer scholarships. So if you go online, maybe and you type study abroad in Japan, you're going to see a few of these popping up on your screen. CIEE, IES Abroad, CEA, Go Overseas, and others. And for you to get scholarships from them, you will need to be attending their programs. Now, I have 2 things for you to keep in mind, and we are not going to go there, but I just wanted to bring this to your radar. There are differences in terms of financial aid eligibility and credit transfers, depending on which programs you select. So if you are studying on a UCLA program, you are automatically getting UCLA credit. UCEAP, you are getting UC credit. Outside providers, you do not have the guarantee of credit transfer. So this is very important for you to keep in mind as you start selecting your programs. Now, private foundations and organizations. This category, I created this list here because I wanted to give you an idea of how diverse this category can be. And we'll just mention quickly each one of those. Fund for Education Abroad. This is a nonprofit organization, and they give preference to underrepresented groups in study abroad. You submit one application, and you are considered for several opportunities. And I believe their awards are up to $5,000. They offer the Going Abroad Scholarship. And this is a discounted flight company. And their goal is to help people travel and experience the world. Their awards are $1,500 awards. Tortuga is a company that sells travel backpack. And if you are selected for their scholarship, you will get a $1,000 scholarship plus a travel backpack. Freeman Asia, that is for US undergraduate students. You must be a US citizen and you must have financial need. And you, of course, must be studying abroad in Asia. DAAD Foundation, this one is aimed primarily to graduates and doctoral students, but they do offer scholarships for undergraduate students doing research in Germany. Bridging Scholarship and Watanabe Scholarship are both for study abroad in Japan. And if you're going for the summer only, you will not qualify. They have a requirement of a minimum of a semester or an academic year. The Bridging Foundation offers scholarships up to $6,000 if you're going for the academic year. And the Watanabe Scholarship may cover most of your program cost. And the last two is Explore the World Scholarship. It's a Hosteling International company. Recipients receive $2,000 to help them finance their international trip, but that trip must include an educational or a service component. So if you're studying abroad, you definitely have the educational component. You would be eligible for that scholarship. In the Ed Passport Scholarship, it's up to $1,000 to cover air ticket costs. So you can see the huge variety that this category may have. And another option for you also are the Rotary clubs. If you have one in your area, you may want to take a look at it because they also offer scholarships. Next one is government-sponsored scholarships. As I mentioned before, there are some really amazing scholarships that the US government offers, and we'll talk about 4 of them. The Benjamin A. Gilman, what we call the Gilman Scholarship. This is for US citizens that are receiving federal Pell Grant. You must, one of the essays that you submit is about a service project proposal. This is just a simple proposal that you will tell Gilman how you are going to spread the word about studying abroad and about the Gilman Scholarship. So if you're interested, I would strongly advise you to watch the webinar that we have recorded on the Gilman Scholarship. Awards are up to $5,000, and there is an additional $3,000 if you decide to learn one of the critical languages that are selected by the US government. Gilman-McCain is pretty much the same thing as Gilman, but it is for undergraduate students or spouses, dependent child or spouse of an active duty military member. And the award is $5,000, not up to $5,000. Now, the Boren Awards. This is an amazing scholarship. If you're interested in public service, in working for the federal government, this is an amazing opportunity. This is a language-focused program. You must select one of the languages that are considered critical for the US national security. You must also select one of the approved countries. And you can find all this information on the Boren website. You do have a 1-year commitment to federal service after you come back from your program, and the award is up to $25,000. And if you are interested in public service, there are some amazing benefits to students that receive this scholarship. And the last one is the Critical Language Scholarship. This is a summer intensive program that you're going overseas to learn one of the 15 critical languages that is selected for this program. Some of them are like Arabic, Chinese, Indonesian, Japanese, Portuguese, Russian, and a few others that I can't remember. The CLS scholarship will cover the majority of the costs of for you to participate in their program. And the last category are the businesses or corporations. many businesses, they offer scholarship for education. So you don't necessarily have to do search on study abroad scholarships. If you can find a scholarship for college, you may want to take a look, because many of them can also be used for study abroad, since this is part of your education. So you may look into banks, food or beverage companies, retail companies. I just want to bring your attention to University Credit Union. They have one of the branches in our campus, and I think that this year they offered a $7,000 scholarship. I know they offer this scholarship every year, but this year it was $7,000. And I was talking to them, and they said that this can be used for study abroad. So you don't necessarily only have to focus on study abroad scholarships. Many scholarships, as I said, that are for education will also cover your study abroad program. Now that you know the main types of scholarships and who the scholarship providers are, let's take a look at the scholarship application. As you start your research, here are some suggestions. Start with the IEO scholarship website or scholarship page on the IEO website. We have added a lot of scholarships there, and we will take a look at the page in a bit, but we have organized also UCLA scholarships under your programs. So if you are going with UCAP or travel study or global internships, you will be able to just click there and find the scholarships that you would be looking into. Once you have a general idea of the IEO scholarship page, then you can also go online and find other resources. And before you start applying, I would advise you to get organized. Maybe you can make a list of all the scholarships you want to apply for, create like a spreadsheet, write down the scholarship name, their requirements, the amount of each award, their deadlines, their required documents. Then you can rank them starting by the ones you were most eligible for. This will make things a little bit easier, and you will not forget any of the scholarships that you have found online. Next, gather all your required documents. Transcripts, essays, and letters of recommendation. They make up the essential components of most scholarships, but some scholarships also have unique requirements. So pay attention on what the scholarship requires. And take into consideration that it can take some time for you to request transcripts if they need the official one. I think the majority of applications accept unofficial transcripts, but just pay attention to what the requirement is. And also recommendation letters. It may take a while for you to get a recommendation, so don't wait until last minute. If you know you're going to be applying for scholarships, once you see that there is a recommendation letter requirement, just go ahead and start, requesting them from the people you want to get the letter from. And finally, write your essays. Essays are required for basically every study abroad scholarship. So consider this your chance to explain to the scholarship providers why you truly deserve their financial support, and apply to as many scholarships as you can. So now let's take a look on how to write a winning essay. You may write the most wonderful essay, but if you do not address the prompt fully, that will be just a nice essay. And I have unfortunately seen quite a few of those. I shake my head and was like, wow, this essay is so great, but it's not really answering what we were asking for. It's a great writer, but it won't do any good for that scholarship application. So pay attention to the prompt. And if you're applying for more than one scholarship, it is very tempting to reuse or recycle the same essay for all the applications. But this can actually work against you. look at an application, a scholarship application, as if you are writing a cover letter for a job. Those have to be unique. Take each scholarship application and study the essay prompt carefully. Make sure your essay addresses all the points of the prompt. Next point, explain your financial need. Be transparent. Remember, the person reading the essay does not know you. And the funding is for study abroad and not for travel abroad. So pay attention that you focus on your study abroad experience and not so much on exploring the city or touristic places. Those are part of your cultural experience, but you should not focus on that during your as you are writing your essay for a scholarship, for a study abroad scholarship. And when writing the essay, don't just tell, but show a little more about you. Give examples, add short stories. This can make the reading so much more exciting. Just keep in mind that scholarship reviewers read tons of applications, so make sure yours stand out. And there are some common topics that are usually asked in study abroad scholarship applications. And some of them are, what impacted your decision to study abroad? How will studying abroad benefit you? Have you had difficulties in your life that you have overcome? Are you part of clubs, communities? What are your identities? What are some unique factors about you? So these are some of the things you will probably be writing about during your study abroad scholarship application. And now we are going to take a look at the IEO website and the UCLA scholarship portal. And we'll take a look at the application process. So as it loads, here is the IEO website. For you to find the scholarships, you go to Finances, Scholarships, and here is the page where you can find all the scholarships that are offered by UCLA. As I mentioned, we have already divided them in categories based on programs. So you just need to open the tab and you're going to see all the scholarships that are available for UCLA students going on specific programs. Just one difference that I want to point out here, as I mentioned, UCAP is a separate office from UCLA Study Abroad office. So this first link here, you will take you to the UCEAP scholarship page. As you can see, it's a different website. These are the scholarships they offer for UCLA students participating in the UCEAP program. So the UCLA Study Abroad Office, IEO, we don't manage UCAP scholarships. You will apply directly with UCAP and they will process, do all the selection process. Everything is through the UCEAP office. However, besides this, all other scholarships here are offered by UCLA. So let's suppose you are applying for the UCLA Travel Study Program. The UCLA Travel Study Scholarship is available for every single student participating on the travel study program. The same thing for UCAP. Every UCAP student can apply for that scholarship. Same thing for the travel study scholarship. And this scholarship is amazing because it covers 50% of your program fees. And if you are going abroad with the global internship programs, you also have the UCLA Global Internship Scholarship, and they have awards up to $3,000. Now, if you take a look at this page, you're going to see that some of the scholarships are offered by UCLA departments. So if you see that your department is here, or that you are from a department that maybe has a travel study program, or they have a global internship program, you may also want to check with them because some of them also offer scholarships. And I said probably, I would say maybe 90% of the UCLA scholarships are listed here, the ones that are for study abroad. But there may be some departments that offer scholarships independently from IEO. So I would advise you to also check with your department. Now, if you come here, you're going to see a brief explanation of each scholarship. As you can see, the Komar Schindler is focused on students pursuing majors or minors in comparative literature or Scandinavian languages, and major in Nordic studies. But it's also open to students in the humanities. So if you are part of one of these majors or minors or part of humanities, you are strongly advised to apply. So when you come and click on this link, it will take you to this page that explains the application period, when application opens and the deadlines, the eligibility criteria, and the application instructions. So you can see that for IEO scholarships, all of them will take you to ucla.academicworks.com, and that's the UCLA scholarship portal. This is where you go to apply to probably every single scholarship from UCLA, and just for college, and also not just for college, but also for study abroad. You will sign in with your UCLA login information, and you will come to this page. As you can see, there are tons of scholarships in here. I think they have like over 20 pages. Yep, over 20 pages of scholarships. The first thing when you sign in, the first thing you must do is complete the general application. The benefit of completing the general application is that many of the scholarships that are offered here, they are on an auto match base. That means the scholarship qualification will match your general application. And if you happen to be a good match, you may even receive scholarships that you didn't even know you were eligible for. So I would strongly advise you, even if you're not applying for a study abroad, come to the study at the UCLA scholarship portal and submit your application, the general application. Now, the system will archive applications every year around mid-March. So every year at the end of March, you should apply again. And then they put new opportunities, new scholarships, and then they run the next academic year. When a scholarship opens, you will see here at the top of the page, the deadlines. So you can see that as I am presenting this webinar, the study abroad scholarships are not open yet, applications, but you can also search them by keywords. So let's take a look at the Komar Schindler. You went to the IEO page, you found the scholarships that you're eligible for. Now you can come here. It's not open yet, but you can just click on that scholarship and it will show you the award amount, the application deadline, and you can also see the questions that you have to answer. In this specific scholarship, you have 2 essays, each one 300 words, that you can already start working on. But just remember, you will not be able to apply to these scholarships if you don't have completed your general application. So start early and get ready for when the application process opens. So you already have your general application completed. You just need to complete the supplemental questions. So this is the UCLA scholarship portal. And if you have any questions, you can also contact me. I'll be happy to instruct you on the application process. Now, as we come close to the end of the presentation, I just want to leave with you 5 tips, and I think they are very important. So, tip number 1, deadlines come early. You can apply for scholarships before you are accepted into a study abroad program. You don't need to wait until you apply to the program or until you're accepted to start applying for scholarships. Start as early as possible. Keep in mind the notification timelines. Some scholarship organizations may notify students after their program drop deadline. And if you don't drop a program by the deadline, you become responsible for the entire cost of the program. So keep in mind, if you are not a recipient of the scholarship, can you still afford that program? Tip number 2, get your essays reviewed and start early. You should take advantage of campus resources. At UCLA, there is an amazing resource, which is the Center for Scholarships and Scholar Enrichment. I think they were formerly called Scholarship Resource Center. And on that site, you can find pre-recorded workshops, and you can also schedule an appointment, a one-on-one with them, for them to take a look at your essay. And remember, that is part of their job. They want to help as many students write excellent essays so they can get scholarships. So take advantage of that as well, because it's really a shame to go through the entire process and then you don't get your essays reviewed, and you can have like grammatical misspelling errors that could disqualify you from winning the scholarship. Tip number 3, submit early. I cannot stress enough how important this is. You did all the hard work, you got all the documents, you got everything ready, and now you wait for the last minute to submit your application. And there can be technical glitches. Sites tend to crash from high traffic right at the deadline. So don't wait for last minute, submit early. Oh, and another thing to keep in mind is the time zone. If the scholarship is, the deadline is 5 p.m. Eastern time, if you leave until 3 p.m. in California, you totally lost your opportunity to submit your application. Tip number 4, talk to your financial advisor. Scholarships are great, but they may impact your financial aid package. So just make sure you are in contact with a financial advisor and ask what is the maximum amount of scholarship that you can get without impacting your financial aid. And number 5, take advantage of non-monetary benefits. There are other benefits besides financial support. One is that you can add your scholarship to your resume and maybe showcase your achievement. This can make you a more attractive job candidate. And other scholarships, like I know the Gilman and the Boren, they offer alumni programs or networking opportunities, and they can be very helpful, especially when you are in the process of applying for a job. So take advantage of those also. Don't just look at the financial part, but look at, after you receive the scholarship, are there any other benefits or support that you can get from that scholarship provider. So we came to the end of our presentation. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions about study abroad or about scholarships, you contact us. Here is our information. You can send us an email to info@ieo.ucla.edu, and all the emails asking about scholarships, they will be forwarding that to me. So I'll be happy to help you if you have questions. So thank you for watching this presentation, and best wishes on your scholarship search.